you have to be in a state where anything is possible. Yeah. Like, I don't do backstories for my characters ever, because it reduces the possibilities. Because then you have to follow the backstory. So he couldn't do that. And you, as an actor, you say to the director, no, my character wouldn't do that. How do you know? Your character might be more interesting than you are, you know?
And this thing doesn't exist yet, this moment.
No.
Experiencing it right now.
There's no better thing than being in a scene with another actor, and you look at the other guy or the other actors and you go like, this can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Hello, and welcome to the Los Angeles Times Envelope Actors Roundtable. I'm Yvonne Villarreal. Let's meet our guests and hear about the films that brought them here today. Will Arnett stars as Alex Novak, a middle-aged suburbanite whose crumbling marriage inspires him to try stand-up comedy in Is This Thing On?
I'm one of the acts, one of the comedy acts.
You?
Yeah, me.
Benicio Del Toro is Sergio St. Carlos, a karate sensei and revolutionary immigration activist in one battle after another.
I've had a few.
A few what?
A few small beers.
Jacob Elordi is the misunderstood and abused creature in Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein.
I am the child of a charnel house.
Wagner Moura portrays multiple characters in the genre-bending The Secret Agent, a historical thriller about a teacher trying to escape the Brazilian dictatorship.
Eu bagaçava a cabeça dele todinho com o martelo.
Jesse Plemons is Teddy, a conspiracy theorist who is convinced that aliens live among us in the dark comedic thriller Bugonia.
You're going to say that I'm in some kind of internet-induced, auto-hypnotic feedback loop.
And Stellan Skarsgård plays Gustav Borg, a veteran film director and absentee father who decides to make a movie about his family in Sentimental Value.
Ni två är ju det bästa som har hänt mig.
Bästa som har skjedd deg? Skulle vært der litt mer, da?
I want to get started by going back in time. What's a movie that you wish you could watch for the first time again? Jacob?
I'd like to watch The Dark Knight again in the exact same circumstance that I watched it.
Tell me about that.
I think I was 11, and I was with my dad, and I'd been told by my mother that I wasn't allowed to see it because there was this like a horrific sort of sequence with a pencil and a magic trick. And then my dad, when my mum was away, took me to the cinema to see it. And I remember the first time I saw Heath on screen and like really feeling just totally moved by something. And it's also just the opening sequence of that movie is just like from the window smashing and then and then they zip line in and it's like I'm supposed to kill a bus driver. All these things are just like the first time I'd really seen them and the first time I'd seen a movie like a superhero film, but in a way that was like watching Heat or something.
Benicio, what's the movie that you wish you could watch again?
I'd say Papillon. With Dustin Hoffman and Steve McQueen. I saw it when I was a kid, and we got in late in the movie, and it was a scene where they're trying to get a gator, and they're running around the crocodile. I was really impressed by it. I've always really enjoyed that film.
When was the last time you saw it?
Well, maybe about 2 years ago, because I showed it to a couple of friends. It was directed by Franklin Schaffner. Who directed Planet of the Apes.
When you really see like Steve McQueen do more in that movie than ever before, when he starts going mad in that cell, you never see him over it because there's so many notorious stories about him only being able, he would cut all the lines from a screenplay, but in that movie he actually pushes for something that's outside of the cool exterior. It's a great one.
We talked earlier about Home Alone, but I don't know if that's your pick.
I don't know, everyone's listing serious movies.
Give us a comedy.
No, go.
I mean, the movie that popped into my head was Nacho Libre.
So good.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Tell me.
I just, in life, some things just give you simple pleasures that aren't necessarily elevated or high art, but that movie makes me very happy, guys.
What do you remember about the first time you watched it?
I think I showed up late too, and I loved it. I mean, I don't know. As a kid, I mean, I also liked, Jim Carrey movies and all of those. So where do we go from there?
My memories from my first time in the cinema at all, and that is Alice in Wonderland, the cartoon version of Disney, and it was magic. It was the first time in the cinema with the audience and everything. I don't remember much about it, but it was amazing.
You know, these roles take you to intense places emotionally, physically, mentally. But I'm curious, like, what's the furthest you've gone to book a role, to land a role, because you really felt like this is something you were meant to play? Wagner?
I don't know if that's exactly the case, but when Narcos was a crazy adventure for me, because I was cast to play that part that had nothing to do with me. I was a skinny Brazilian guy who didn't speak Spanish at all. So I had to go through a very intense thing. I had to learn a language in order to play a character. That was crazy. So I think that was the furthest I've been to play a part.
And you learned
I gained weight. I learned the language. I gained 40 pounds.
in 3 weeks, or
No.
How long?
No, it took me like 4 months, 5 months.
4 months, yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Those early weeks are a lot of fun, right? the beginning weeks, it's like Christmas every day.
The beginnings was like what am I doing here? You go to bed and go like, Jesus Christ, there's no way I can pull this off. And then at the same time I remember like going to bed and thinking, have I done everything I could? And then I was like, yeah, so go to bed, sleep.
Did you ever think about quitting, about not doing it?
No. I thought that I had to go ahead and do it. And there was the director trusted me, and he was like, you can do it. So I didn't want to disappoint him.
Have you gone to that point?
Not to learn language, no.
But wanting to quit something because it felt too much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All the time. I mean, all the time. Doing this thing that I just worked on, every day I felt like I was at the bottom of a mountain. Every day I thought there's no way I can do it. And I would come home and just think like that was probably the worst day that anybody's ever filmed a scene, and then just have to let it go.
You play Alex, a man in crisis who turns to stand-up in Is This Thing On? And you performed stand-up in real comedy clubs with real audience members, and you bombed a few times. Tell me what that was like. Place me in that moment.
Well, I had them introduce me by my character name. And so the people who did know who I was, we were saying last night that some people thought that I was probably having like a midlife crisis or something, which I was, but for different reasons. And I think, going up there, and I'd never done stand-up before, so going up and doing this in front of people and bombing was so super vulnerable because there's nowhere to hide. And you can't just walk off. There was one time where I'd done a set at the Comedy Cellar in the main room, and it was great, and went around the corner like 5 minutes later onto a different stage with the same material, and it was dead silent. And the only person laughing was Bradley, was in the back of the room. I could see him laughing and thinking like, can I just walk off stage right now? And thinking, no, I got to push through and keep doing it. That was ego stripping. I think I'm getting a divorce. What tipped me off was that I'm living in an apartment on my own. Yeah. And my wife and kids don't live there. That was probably the biggest clue.
Stellan, sentimental value in some ways is about the choices a parent makes in service of their art or job and how that affects their family. I'm curious how that made you reflect on your own career and the choices you've made and the impact it had on your children.
I thought it had nothing to do with me. This was a good escape. But when my second son, he called me and said, he saw the family, it's fantastic. He said, good, thank you. You recognize yourself, he says. And I went, no. And of course I don't recognize myself because he's a different kind of man. He's also an old-fashioned man in a sense, a 20th century man, and I'm 21st. Since I stopped at the Royal Dramatic Theatre 89, I spent 4 months a year in front of the camera and 8 months a year changing diapers and wiping asses. And so I don't think I've been away a lot, but it made me think about, have you been present? Mm-hmm. And not really. Mm-hmm. Not really all the time. And you have you been present enough? No, to some of your kids. I have 8 kids, which means that there's 8 different personalities. And some kids need a lot of attention, and some don't. So, you're imperfect, but I'm sort of settled with that. And I have my kids have to settle with it too.
What's that?
Often we pose this question to women, but a lot of you here are fathers. I'm curious how you've approached navigating the balance between fatherhood and your career.
I think this is the most difficult balance of it all. For me, it's the most difficult thing. I was thinking the other day, what are the things that really define me as a human being? And I think that being a father is the strongest one. But also being an artist is almost there. So it's hard because we have to travel a lot, and not always you're able to bring your kids with you. They have schools and they have their own lives and their own things. So I kind of think this is sort of an impossible, perfect balance. But like Stellan said, it is what it is. And when I'm with them, I try to be with them. This is a cliche, but this is what I try to do. But being aware that there will be parts of their lives that I won't be able to be there for them and sort of accept that.
It's funny, just this week, yesterday, I've been traveling a lot, doing this stuff. My 15-year-old said to me, I checked in on him, he was doing his homework. I said, how you doing? He said, good. And he said, I miss you. And I was in the same place with him. And I don't even know if this is appropriate for this forum, but it really struck me, and it really kind of, him saying that stayed with me all day. And I woke up thinking about this morning, and even this, and saying, hey, we're gonna have dinner tonight. And I had those moments of thinking, am I that guy? Now I'm saying, let's have dinner after I gotta go do this thing. It weighs on you, and it is the most difficult balance. But it's what you do, and in life you got to kind of sometimes try to, for me anyway, just take a broader view as much as you can.
I've tried to include my daughter in the process sometimes. Sit her down, bounce lines with her, go see the movie when I'm done with the movie. Kind of make her part of it too. I've tried that, and we'll see.
Jacob, actors are often asked about the preparation that went into a role, but with the creature in Frankenstein, so much of it is about discovery and experiencing things for the first time. So what did you have to unlearn in playing this character, or were there things that you had to remind yourself to stop doing as a person that has experienced these things before?
I guess the sort of nature of the character actually gives you an excuse to be absolutely free, because he's sort of the first man in a lot of ways. You can really draw from everything and anything, a smell or light, or because he hasn't felt the sun on his face. But there's so many things that you can go back on and reconsider. And I guess a lot of the process was sort of just closing the world off for the time of filming, and just not eating a cheeseburger when I wanted to eat a cheeseburger, or just little stuff that made me feel sort of other. But I think strangely enough, because he's made of so many different parts, and you get to go from being born to finding consciousness to the sort of death of consciousness or something at the end. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. You can't really miss, because there's so much. Everything is happening to him all the time.
I am the child of a charnel house. assembled from refuse and the discarded dead. A monster.
But didn't you studied some form of Japanese dance or movement?
Yeah, Guillermo had this idea to study Buto, which is this dance of reanimating a corpse or something, and it's like a movement thing, like you're in drama school again, where she's like, imagine fire in your fingertips and a hurricane in your lungs, and your foot is a steam train, and then you walk around the room for 40 minutes and sort of it's like, I remember being in drama school, and I had to carry a stick that was called my IntelliKey for 2 hours. It was a piece of bamboo, and move around the room as if that stick was a part of my soul or something completely fucking absurd. It was a similar process to that, but it was actually helpful because I had something to apply it to that was sort of physically not so human, I guess, you know.
Benicio, you really know how to make a character memorable and leave a lasting impression. And I'm very curious, you know, what were you working with on the page with Sensei Sergio? What were you collaborating with Paul in terms of how to make this character who we see on screen? What was that like for you?
I just asked questions. You know, I just asked, you know, why, you know, Paul is very, you know, he wants to hear what the actors have to say. So, you know, I just bombard him with questions, and then just Paul was very flexible. If he likes an idea, he's very quick, and if he likes something, he would jump on it, you know. But basically, I think I asked questions.
What's something you presented to him that he was like, yes, do that, do more of that?
I think that my character was introduced by killing someone in my dojo. So I asked him, okay, so if I kill this guy in the dojo, and I'm not going to drive Leo anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, we have to get rid of the body. And we're going to have to clean the dojo or set it up on fire. You know, I mean, and why am I doing that? So from there, it evolved into, like, we're not killing anybody. So, I mean, that's basically, like, you know, I approach it a little bit like that. Just like, you know, common sense, I think, logic. But every character is different, and every story is different, and every director is different. So, and like, you know, I've been in movies where, you know, you just got to find yourself in there. And those are challenges, and they make you better, you know. You know, that's part, I think, of doing what we do in a way. You know, every experience will take you to another place.
What's the plan? I'm thinking. Is that my weapon? Hang on. What's the plan? We gotta go, man. We gotta go.
I'm gonna take him up on the roof, across to my car in Laughlin's Alley. Here are my keys. You drop them off, you call me. Latino Heat, come with me.
No, man. I'm not going with them. No, I'm not going with them. I'm supposed to go with you. I need you, brother. Please, Sensei, please.
Courage, Bob. Courage.
Jesse, in Bugonia, it really taps into this feeling of hopelessness that many Americans are feeling at this moment. And Teddy obviously reaches for conspiracy to make sense of, you know, life's hardships. Could you understand that mindset, and what worried you about how to depict this with depth?
I think the like root of what draws people into any sort of group, it kind of all stems from the same place, you know? I mean, I think just looking at, you know, an alien conspiracy theorist, I don't think it's too dissimilar to, you know, someone that decides this is the religion that I believe in. This is the thing that reassures me that there's something else other than this, what I'm looking at right now, because this can't be it. But yeah, that was one of the things that I really responded to, was how the writer, Will Tracy, I mean, he created, you know, not just my character, but and Teddy specifically, a character that was pretty loathsome in some ways and really tragic, really smart, really gullible. I mean, there was so much to play with. But yeah, I mean, one of the more isolated individuals I've ever played, for sure.
Can we have a dialogue, please?
Don't call it a dialogue. This isn't Death of a Salesman.
Okay, can we talk, please? Or are you just going to
We
keep
don't
doing
need to talk.
Yes, okay.
Because I know exactly what you're going to say. You're going to say that I'm in some kind of internet-induced, auto-hypnotic feedback loop and gatekeepers and norms and all that weak hegemonic horse shit. But that is precisely the limp dick rhetoric that you've been instructed to counter the human insurgency with.
Wagner, The Secret Agent really explores how a brutal dictatorship is on regular people. Tell me about portraying a person in that situation, the average person. Just
the dictatorship in Brazil it was from 64 to 85. I was born in 76, so I was there. And it didn't really end in 85. The echoes of the dictatorship were still there. I remember like my parents speaking like because they didn't want people to hear what they're talking about. So, and I think it's important that Brazilian cinema is going back there to look at that big scar in our country. And I myself directed a film about a freedom fighter, a guy who wanted to overthrow the government. But this one is different, like you said. It's just someone who's trying to stick with the values that he has. And I think that this is a reality in many different parts of the world, where just the fact that you are who you are makes your life difficult or put your life in danger, just by the color of your skin, of your sexual orientation, So I found that there was a very interesting approach, because you see the dictatorship and what a dictatorship can do, but not in an obvious way.
Eu não sou uma pessoa violenta. Mas esse cara eu matava ele com um martelo.
you are acting in Portuguese, Benicio, in One Battle After Another. We have unsubtitled Spanish, and everyone did just fine, like in terms of understanding. And I'm curious what that's like for you to act in sort of your default mode, and what does it open up for you?
To act in Portuguese, I learned English when I was an adult already. So when I speak English, or even when I speak Spanish, the words, they don't come out of my mouth with memory. When I say something in Portuguese, it comes with, memories of my every single time
backstory
that I said that word. I don't care about my accent, the way I speak. There was a time when people would like, could you speak English with an American? And I was like, no, because I represent, the way I speak is the way many other people that live in this country speaks as well. So it's a political statement to do it the way I do. But it is different, you know. It's an effort to fill the words with something that doesn't come out naturally from in me.
When I started working here in America, if you had an accent, you were the bad guy. No, it was nothing. The xenophobia was rampant.
What was the first English language thing that you did, Stellan?
A Russian submarine. It was in Not for Red October.
Yeah.
They even wanted me to do it in Russian. I said, no fucking way. You talk to the Russian actors unemployed in LA. They can do it better.
Now I want to go for, this is like something that after Narcos especially, I was always getting this, offers to play this very same kind of character. And it's like, no, I want to play characters called Michael.
Yes.
I want to go with the same characters that we're always going for. And because, it's like people speak like me. Many people.
You don't want to be the goofy idiot.
Maybe he does.
I do.
No, but it's true. I mean, I did a film called Good Will Hunting, and the producer said maybe you should should get a more Swedish name. We should call him Svensson or something. And I said, Swedish name? Lambeau? His name is Lambeau. And is that American? I'll change my name if you guys change your name to real American names, like Sitting Bull and Running Bear.
I like that.
This is interesting.
Benicio, I mean, how do you think the industry sees you now, and how does it compare to when you were starting out?
Well, talking about, my first language is Spanish, growing up in Puerto Rico. But I left when I was 13, so I started speaking English, and then I decided to be an actor, and all my training was in America. So the first time I spoke in Spanish in a movie was in Traffic. Wow. And that was like a freaky thing. Because for me, what was complicated was to listen in Spanish. Not to talk, but to listen in Spanish. That was really kind of like confusing, but you know, it opened tons of doors too. The ability to speak two languages, which I think is a good thing. So you know, but how I think it's changed quite a bit. I mean, you know, I think that you have a lot of opportunity now, and like Skarsgård was saying, the fact that when you had an accent back in the day, and when I started, you were going to play the bad guy, or the gardener, or you know, and it was going to be a small part. But I think it's changed. I think there's more opportunity now. There's a lot of projects going, you know.
But it's money. Back then, the main income was local. It was the American market. But today it's the global market.
Right. I mean, a show like Narcos opened up a whole thing. You know, that it became watched all over the world, and it made money. You know. So, but I think there's an audience out there I say let it rip. That's my way of thinking. But yeah.
Well, how do you feel?
As a Canadian?
Finally. Get to
Let's
it.
get to it. Let's get to it. Hit me.
But do you feel the industry sees you as a certain type, like the Will Arnett type, and what do you want it to be?
Yeah, you know, I never consciously thought about it. I thought about this idea a lot until recently. And I thought about because I had a lot of people saying things like, "Hey, we never expected this from you."
Yeah.
Which feels like a backhanded compliment. A little bit. And what's funny is, you know, you as an actor, you take roles, especially when you're starting out. I was just trying to work as much as I could. You know, I spent many years in New York not working and taking whatever I could. And for me, you know, I did the show Arrested Development. It changed my life, and so I sort of made the joke about being the goofy idiot. And what happens is, like Wagner was saying, he comes off Narcos, and everybody's like, "Great, you're that guy. So you should do this. We want you for this. We want more of that." And as a younger man, you know, I wanted to work a lot, and so I was like, okay, because all of a sudden there was nothing, and now you've got opportunity, and if I'd spent more time, if I was smarter, I might have made different choices. And what happens is you find yourself kind of going down this road, and it's not, you know, I disagree with the notion of being typecast. They didn't typecast, I didn't have to do it. I just kind of went with the flow. And I had a great moment a couple years ago when I kind of finally realized that I had been doing a lot of these things, and it wasn't. I was saying to these guys before in the meeting before the meeting, we had a great roundtable in the garage, by the way. You should have taped that over a cigarette.
Yeah.
Which is that I think that because I didn't spend a lot of time self-evaluating in that way, and I probably should have. But I just, you know, I had this moment where I got offered this film a couple years ago, and I had a new agent who I'd known for a long time. He's a great guy, and he said to me, he called me up and he said, "This is a good offer for you. Great money. but I'm going to be, and I don't want to take money out of your pocket. He said, but I'm going to tell you something. If I saw you in this, I'd say, that's the kind of movie that Will Arnett would do. And it felt like a gut punch, but also felt like a reality check. And it was kind of like, it took me to be like 50 years old to kind of go, wait a second, I want to do stuff that I connect with. And that was a seminal moment for me, you know.
Do you ever find, this is maybe for everyone, that sometimes failing in a scene is almost a relief, and then after that it's like, all right, well, I've already kind of made myself look like an idiot here. Expectations are now.
Yeah,
There's something, I think, really helpful about trying something and failing.
and sometimes when you fail, it looks better than the ones you thought
Yeah,
you
exactly.
nailed. Yes, which is
Lars von
bizarre.
Trier,
It's
that's
incredible.
bizarre.
He had on the set, when we did Breaking the Waves, he had on the set a big sign that says, make mistakes.
Yeah.
And he was adamant about it. You haven't made enough mistakes. Okay, I'll make one. So we made mistakes. And of course,
Take off my pants.
Made a mistake.
I made a mistake.
Well,
I remember we were shooting a scene, and Bradley and I talked about the relationship. But we were shooting this scene, and we are kind of trying to wade our way through it, and we sort of cut, and we just started talking to each other. And I looked at him, and he said, I don't know. And I looked at him and I said, I don't want to let you down. And he said, I don't want to let you down. And from that, and we kind of hugged in that moment. It was fucking unbelievable. That's
cool.
And then from that moment on, like kind of to what you were saying, it just like being honest with each other in that moment, and then you let go of all of this. It can just kind of be. It was pretty dope.
I'm one of the guys going up.
What?
I've been doing open mic nights.
What's an open mic?
I just got a call that one of the comics who's
didn't
emceeing at the
answer my
club
question.
tonight, they agreed to give me 10 minutes on stage. I'm one of the acts, one of the comedy acts.
You?
Yeah, me.
Well, so, I don't know. What do you do? You tell jokes?
I mean, sort of more like funny stories about my life.
What's funny about your
I
life?
had no idea your life was so bad.
No, it's not so bad.
Yeah,
No,
This is why she
what's
threw
funny
you
about
out.
She did it.
Jacob, Andrew Garfield was originally tapped to play the role of the creature in Frankenstein. What was that like for you to step into a role that another actor was attached to?
I had strangely, this is the first and this is the only time that this has ever happened, I had thought about Guillermo's Frankenstein a year before when Andrew was still attached to it. And I had thought about how I would do it if I one day ever got to be in that. Because I was working on this film Priscilla in Toronto, and the makeup team were going on to do Frankenstein, so they were muttering about it while and I remember sitting there kind of being like, gee, I'd like to try that. And I've never thought that before, really. And I think it was because when I made my first movie, I spent far too much time on the internet, and someone said I reminded them of a plank of wood when I act, and the only thing that I'd be able to play would be Frankenstein's creature. And I'll never forget that tweet. It was burned in my head.
What are they thinking now?
But I read it. They probably retweeted it, like, told you. But I remember reading that and going, that's a great idea. That's a really good, I could use this, you know. But then when I came to it, I was in the middle, I was working in Australia on something that it was one of those ones where you've lost your weight and you're sort of miserable and in and out of yourself. And I had 4 weeks to get ready from when Andrew dropped out, which was the best thing, because if I'd had a year or 2 years to sit and think about how he moves and where his voice is coming from, it wouldn't have worked. The role worked because I was still figuring it out while we were shooting.
Right.
We shot the final scene first, was the first time I spoke, and I didn't have the voice. I had to sort of make one up, because I had an idea and I knew a register and I had an idea of different voices and things like that. But no, because I didn't want to just be walking around the house like, no, we'll come to you, like some monster thing. But the nature of the movie, the way that we shot it, allowed me to build him as we were filming. I had one night in the sort of 4 weeks when I went home and I live in the woods sort of by myself, and I watched the sort of moon come up, and I was sitting staring there and I was like, oh, okay, like this will be the last one, and you give it your best go, and then because I'm going to fail, like there is no world in which I can can do this, and I wish this creature didn't speak, and I wish he just had bolts and was green and just walked in the room. Like, why does he have to speak? And then this blood moon like came up over the mountain, and just something. I went, okay,
got it.
Like I got it, and I figured like if you're on the edge of the cliff and you're gonna jump, and the bottom is certain death and crocodiles, you may as well do a backflip on the way down. Like you may as well throw a few spins in. So that was kind of my thought process. Was like, if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go out with a
full throttle,
with a
glory,
with jazz hands. Do you know?
Did you preview when you the first words you said were Victor, right? Is that the first thing that you?
Victor is the first thing I say in the film, but the first scene we shot was when he says, "I forgive you,"
right?
Which is the final film of the. Final.
But did you guys talk? I was curious. Did you guys talk? Did you preview for him how you were going to say it that first time?
No. I didn't. There was no. That's the best thing with working with Guillermo. He said to me when I got to Toronto, he just looked at me and he said, "Don't worry." And I was like, "What do you mean, don't worry?" And he's like, "You know what to do." And that's like one of those things that directors say, and you're like, "Okay, like what do you mean I know what to? I don't know. I'm telling you I don't know what to do." But he was right. It just sort of happened, and I didn't have to show anyone the movement or the voice. We just kind of went on as soon as, and also those prosthetics, you know, you sit there and you have the sort of 10 hours and something does change. And I don't know how many of you guys have worked with them, but something, when your full face is covered and you look up, and then I put the teeth in and the shape of my mouth changed, the voice changed as soon as the teeth went in. It came from sort of behind his throat. It didn't come out the front of my mouth anymore. It just kind of, I was so lucky that Guillermo knew, you know, he knew it was going to work, and then it kind of just did.
Do any of you read reviews? And first, let's start there. Stellan, do you read reviews?
Yes, sometimes. I mean, I prefer to read the good ones.
But has there been a bad review that propelled you or motivated you or helped you get to?
Once I read a theater review that was really bad, and that pointed out a grave mistake I made in the show. So I corrected it afterwards. But otherwise,
you took the advice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Will?
Once I did this show for Netflix, and 10 years ago, and this guy wrote this review, and I'm embarrassed to say, I wrote a point-for-point rebuttal email. And he was pointing out inconsistency. I wrote it as well, and I was like, actually, that's not fucking true if you paid attention. Blah, 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 and I had the whole thing. Yeah. And I sent it as a draft to Mark Chaplin, my partner, and he said, hold on. Don't send it. I'm going to come over and let's talk for a minute. And I didn't send it. Yeah.
I've got one journalist that I'm not going to say their name, but
who's got it out for you?
No, well, did in a way that wasn't even that intense, but said it was like misguided. Which is like, what? Misguided. And then I started reading more of his reviews. And just like everything's misguided to this guy. It's like, what? What do you mean?
That's good.
So I'm trying to be less misguided.
Benicio, aside from written reviews, another way to gauge how a performance is landing is the afterlife it has on social media. It's a few small beers. It's your exactly.
So fucking good.
What do you make of that? And in the moment that you were doing it, did you know this is going to be something?
No, I don't know. I just did it. But, no, I didn't know. I just said that line, little beers, and then someone said that it was, but I don't really look at that much. I mean, it's kind of cool, but I just don't.
Mm-hmm. How much of that scene was in the script and how much was improv by you on the set?
Oh, a lot of it was me because I was in it. But
you were gonna say that.
But yeah, my brother, we're ready. Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. Here we go. Let's do it. Not much. A little bit was me, yes. I mean, I did the dance, but, and then, Paul also was involved in that, and we did it really quick. Like, the sun was going down, it was hurry up, park the car here, get out, get arrested. So I had to, like, so to be able to, like, make it look like it's taken an hour to arrest me, but we did it really quick. That's what I remember. All right, let's go to work.
Not move. Do you have any weapons on you, sir?
No, sir.
Why are you running from us?
Had a long day, man.
You didn't see the lights back there?
Oh, yes, I did.
What did you toss out of the vehicle?
Excuse me?
What did you toss out of the vehicle back there?
Trash.
You sure about that?
Yes, ma'am.
You been drinking today?
I've had a few.
A few what?
A few small beers.
A growing debate in Hollywood right now is the use of AI. I'm curious, like, what are your concerns about, this technology at this point? Wagner, do you have?
I have bigger concerns than even our craft. I think it's things that I was doing display in Brazil now, and it trying to talk about this somehow, which is like, scares me a lot, the fact that the truth as we know it, it's kind of over. Like, there are no facts anymore. There are versions of things. And I think technology in this sense is just making it worse. But of course, I think that when I see those cars, that self-driven cars, I go like, how many truck drivers are gonna get out of their jobs pretty soon? And in our case, it's even weird because I don't know. I mean, I had the experience of having. I don't know if you guys did that. Like when they scan your face and they do the whole thing and they make you do expressions and then to capture that. And I was like, what are you gonna do with that? No, don't worry. It's just like
I bought yours.
But that scared the shit out of me.
Like, what did it's been very profitable.
I don't want to see, like an avatar of myself doing anything. So I think that's a problem. I don't understand anything about this universe, but I find it very scary.
Jacob, is this something you think about?
No, and I've noticed it's like creeping into every conversation, which I think is part of the problem. Like, fuck it, honestly. But the thing that concerns me the most is I want young people being born now and people that are younger than me. I experienced the world right on the cusp of the change. I was born in 97, and I just want them to be able to, I've seen the world, as everyone, and it's fucking great. And it's beautiful, and there's so much tactile stuff out there. I want people to be able to find art. I want a kid who's lonely to be able to pick up a pencil and start sketching and realize that that's what they're supposed to do. I want someone to practice monologues and look at me the way that I looked at you guys. Like, I've watched all of you from before I made movies, and I thought, I'm going to do that. I watched you in Breaking Bad, and I'm going to be like, well, there's a young guy in it. Like, I can do that. And I've been watching you since I started. Usual Suspects is one of the first cinema movies that when you're going through the list on IMDb top 200 films, it's right up there. I want them to organically experience that and not have the art that they look at and the world that they experience. I want them to experience the same thing that I have, and selfishly, I want it to stay the way that it is. I'm not really into it. I think it's fucking boring.
Yeah. Before we wrap things up, I always like getting recommendations. Please tell me what's something you're watching that would surprise me. Will, I'm going to start with you because I feel like
Premier League football.
I'm not surprised.
You're not surprised. Are you surprised that I'm a Liverpool fan?
Oh yeah, I am.
Okay.
Wagner, you like watching Great British Bake Off? What are you doing?
No, but I just saw this Japanese rock band only with girls called Otoboki Beaver, and they are great. Great Japanese punk rock.
Oh, I like that. That's cool.
Mm.
Jesse?
I mean, I watch a lot of I don't know if any shows I'm into right now, but I just saw this live performance that Nina Simone did of You Don't Know What to Love Somebody.
Yeah.
That was like slower, kind of Ray Charlesy. That got me. I mean, she's just. I was thinking as I was watching her this live performance, she's one of my favorite actors. I don't know if you've ever seen her perform a song live. Every cell in her body is in the song. Yeah. Okay, next.
Thank you.
Stellan, is there something you're watching?
Well, I'm actually reading a book now.
Tell me.
So I'm reading the Nobel Prize winner of this year. His name is Krasna Horkai. He's Hungarian. He has a connection to film because some of his books has been filmed by Bellatar, who is the slowest and most. I mean, some people can't stand him, and some people just get mesmerized by his films. He's interesting.
Jacob, watching, listening, reading to anything?
I'll just say the last thing that I watched, Parallax View, the Warren Beatty film. It's just, go into, if you want to just have just go into the 70s and do that.
Yeah.
It's a long lens fucking treat, like, you know?
I just watched that Martin Scorsese documentary, Rebecca Miller, and I thought it was just a lot of fun. You know.
Yeah.
She did an amazing job.
She did an amazing job. Yeah, it's 5 episodes and.
Yeah.
It's on Scorsese?
It's on Scorsese, and you see the relationship between him and De Niro and all, you know, it's great. It's great, yeah.
Well, this was such a lovely conversation. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's a comforting film for me? It's Cinema Paradiso.
Well, actually, one of my sons is really into Christopher Nolan films, so that's something that, it's funny, you find different things that you can share with your kids that they like to watch.
What's Up, Duck? I'm still laughing.
Duck Soup. That's very funny.
Yeah, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix.
I've got 2 young boys, and we're constantly trying to find movies that we can all enjoy. Home Alone is a movie that we've seen hundreds of times.